Hello everybody, this is Lodge, and today I'm going to be talking about my thoughts over the latest Halo Infinite technical preview that happened over the weekend. First of all, I just want to say I really enjoyed the fight as a whole, and I'm looking forward to the final release date at the end of the year. And I really like the gameplay for this game. Almost every single gun felt good to use from a gameplay perspective. Shooting the enemies felt really good when you were finally able to actually hit your enemy. And I think they really lowered the amount of aim assist that's in the game, so you had to work more to actually get a kill, which is evident in my gameplay since I'm pretty bad at the game. And I really liked how so many weapons had different properties. Like if you hold down the fire button on the Ravager, it can create fire at the ground that'll stay there to hurt your enemies, and I think stuff like that can really add to the game, like in objective modes. And although I didn't really like the heat wave, felt like there were times where I was just missing, shouldn't have missed, it felt like a bug, I really liked the idea of it and how you could change firing modes. Now we really want to talk about the sound design to the game, because I really think it adds to why I like some of these weapons so much. Like firing the siren feels so good because of just how it sounds. You just need to hear some of these sounds for yourself while playing the game to understand how much it can add to the kill. Now there are some sounds I don't really like the needler shooting doesn't really sound like the needler shooting to me. It sounds more like a plasma rifle or something. But I did get used to it while playing the game, and while the overcharged plasma pistol sounds like it did in the original Bungie games, the actual quick shooting sounds honestly really generic to me. Even more than it did in Halo 5. I feel like I totally see that sound being used in that game. But that honestly didn't really make the game unplayable to me at all, or even necessarily warrant a change. But yeah. Though I really liked how they got back the old shield recharge sound. It was just so good. And as you can probably tell, sprinting is back in the game, although it's not as fast as it was in the previous Halo games. As far as I can tell, the only main use is to get somewhere a tiny bit faster, or be able to slide. Sliding allows you to move like a madman if used correctly. But I think the radar only works if you are sprinting. Since sprinting in itself doesn't give you that much of an advantage, then why would regular walking not put you on the radar? The amount of times I was just backsmacked because someone just simply walked up to me, it's honestly too high. I can understand if the sprint was like in Halo 5 where you kind of needed to use it to get around quickly, but it honestly doesn't. And this makes the crouch more useless in the past games, because why would you crouch to go anywhere if you're not on the radar while walking? I don't know what I would just change the walk to put you on the radar, since sprinting doesn't give you as much advantage as the previous games do. Oh, and since this was mostly a bots beta, I gotta say I really liked playing against them. They honestly never won, but it felt like a pretty good introduction to playing the game. I just wish Spartan difficulty was a bit harder to beat. I mean, I even got perfection against them while playing. It kind of felt like I was still playing the ODST difficulty, but it's honestly not that big of a deal. Also, the AI will do the same thing at the start of the match, so it's kind of easy to get some free kills if you know where they're coming around the left corner each time. And that brings me to the maps. I honestly really like them all. They're all very different aesthetically, which made it refreshing to get these different maps to play, and they all play pretty differently from each other, which is always a good thing. And I really liked all the equipment that you could find on these maps. Like in Halo 3, I can remember one piece of equipment that I actually wanted to use, if there was ever time I actually wanted to, and that was the bubble shield. But in Halo Infinite, I honestly want to use every single piece of equipment that I get my hands on. The grapple hook had to be my favorite just because of how much versatility it can bring. Maybe you want to get across the map fast, maybe you want to go towards an enemy player, or even bring a power weapon to you. The grapple hook can do that for you. Can you tell that grapple hook is my favorite equipment? But seriously, I think I used all the equipment in this short flight more than I ever have in Halo 3 multiplayer. It just all works so well and actually gives you a good advantage most of the time. And now on to the actual AI and customization. I really liked all the AI you could choose from. I liked all the choices you can get and how different they were from each other, and my favorite had to be Cirque. But I really want to get to know all the other choices that we'll get to make in the full game so I can fully make my decision. Though you should be able to quiet them down, and they should do the same for actual Spartan chatter for people who don't want to hear them saying stuff all game. Oh, and can we also get an option to hear some voice cuts from them before we choose? In Halo Reach, we can choose what they can say so we're informed before we have to play a match with them. Also, do this for the Spartan voices that were in the map. It would just help without having to play a lot of matches to make a decision that in previous Halo games would be really easy to make. And I really never released the weapon skins, but it's cool that they're there for the people who want to use them. And also I really liked all the armor. So far it seems pretty cool, and how much you can change. You can give yourself so many prosthetics and stuff. I just think it's really neat about how much more choice we can get. And I really like all the armor, and the coatings are pretty cool. And although from the fight we didn't get to see too many of the different coatings, the ones that we did get to see were pretty cool, and I cannot wait for all the customization that can possibly come from it, because according to 343, they can make a lot more of these coatings super quickly, so it's going to be cool to see all the different stuff we can get. And PvP was also pretty fun, although it can be really hard to win since some players are just super good at the game already. And although it's still really fun, I'm glad they put PvP in the game, although if it was only for 2 hours. And the XP challenges were cool, but sometimes you wouldn't get an XP for completing a match if you had no challenges left, and I think that was simply a bug, but if it isn't, it would honestly be so disappointing since you can only play for a certain amount of time. and you wouldn't get anything for playing more, but I really think it's a bug, so that isn't that big of a deal. Bots are really good for being in the first game they're presented in. It'll be a good way to warm up for going to PvP. And yeah, I think that was pretty much all my thoughts on the bot fight. Overall, it was really fun, and I'm glad I got a chance to check it out before the game fully comes out. And you'll be seeing some more videos because I have a lot of clips that I made. And with that out of the way, I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you have any of your thoughts, leave them in the comments. I'd love to hear them. And I hope you have a good day, and goodbye.